you had a great weekend. Good to have you with us here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Bob Shrum going to join us in a bit, along with Congressman Jim McDermott. Now, one of the stories that's been percolating out there in recent weeks is about Joe Biden. Put yourself in Biden's position. Biden, nobody's going to run for president unless they think they can win or unless they have an unbelievable ego, and sometimes it's both. But I do believe in this case, Joe Biden, who has been a public servant for, over 40 years, I mean, this is who he is. This is what he does. And now at the end of his term as vice president, twice for President Obama, he's wondering, oh, gosh, what am I going to do now? I might as well run for president. Not so fast. Biden is certainly making a calculation as to, okay, what's my campaign going to be like? What I'm going to be asked? How am I different? And these calculations are going to bring in some pretty tough answers. Number one, he's just like Hillary when it comes to Wall Street. He's just like Hillary when it comes to trade. And I will think that Hillary Clinton is for the Trans-Pacific Partnership and TPA, Trans Promotional Authority, because she won't say she isn't. So let's assume that she is, and considering the actions of her husband when he was president. That aside, Biden's a good middle-class guy. He's not a wealthy guy. It's not a shot at him. It's actually a compliment because his focus has been helping people his entire career instead of going out and making millions of dollars. So now he wants to run for president. Well, the calculation has got to be, what are my chances? His chances are, well, Bernie is going to get the left, and he might get some independents and get some disgruntled Republicans who think, you know what, I believe in what he's saying on Wall Street, but I probably could beat Bernie. That's probably what Joe Biden's thinking. On the other hand, he's thinking, this email thing that Hillary's got cooking right now, this thing isn't going away. And it's not, I don't have to go out and say anything about it. Biden's got to be thinking that. I'll be asked about it, but it'll work itself out legally. Just listen to Jerry Brown, governor of California. This is what's percolating on her side. This continues to bubble up, and it won't go away to the point where Hillary Clinton is getting pissed off in front of the media. But look, this is a story. The FBI is involved. Okay? The Inspector General has said they want an investigation into all of this. Hillary has not handed over everything that she claims that she has. And the question remains, why did she have a private email server when she was working as Secretary of State? Here's how Jerry Brown calls it.
This email thing, it has kind of a mystique to it. An email is just an utterance in digital form, but it has some kind of dark energy that gets everybody excited. So I don't know how, it's almost like a vampire. She's going to have to find a stake and put it right through the heart of these emails in some way.
Now, the stake that he's talking about would be the truth. And with these polls out there continually saying that Hillary Clinton has a trustworthy issue is going to be something that the right wing is going to continue to pounce on. Listen to Carly Fiorina.
She's a hardworking woman. She's an intelligent woman. She has dedicated herself to public service. It is also true, however, that she is not trustworthy, that she has lied about some key things, Benghazi, her emails, her server. The night of the Benghazi attacks, we now know that the State Department and the White House knew this was a purposeful, pre-planned terrorist attack. Nevertheless, the next morning she went into the State Department and she addressed the American people and talked about a video that did not represent the values of this nation. Several days later, she said the same thing over the bodies of the fallen. What she should have said was, this was a purposeful terrorist attack and we will seek retribution.
Well, I'd love to see Carly Fiorina and Hillary Clinton go face-to-face because somewhere in between all of that and the two of them, we might get the truth on all of it. Now, if you're not a Clinton supporter, you're going to eat everything up Carly Fiorina just said. And she said some things I'm not totally sure of. Bottom line here is this all plays to Biden because that era of doubt that is out there is only going to help him. But I don't think that he would peel away much from Bernie Sanders. For more on all of this, let's go to Bob Shrum, Democratic strategist. Bob, great to have you back with us.
Glad to be here, Ed.
There is no criticism of Joe Biden. Everybody loves him. At least every Democrat does. He's a solid guy. There are some differences between him and Bernie Sanders, a lot of similarities between he and Hillary Clinton. What do you think that is weighing on his mind when he's considering, in the Wall Street Journal reporting that, well, people close to him say that he is really close to announcing that he's going to run? How do you unpack it for us?
Well, first of all, I don't think he should run simply because she's vulnerable. If he believes she is, he should run because he thinks he has something to say. He thinks that he can authentically represent the needs of middle-class voters, working-class voters, and that he can appeal to them. He's got to make an affirmative campaign about himself, as you suggested earlier. I think on his mind are questions like, can I raise the money? And can I put the organization together? I don't think putting the organization together would be very difficult. There are lots of people out there in Iowa, up in New Hampshire, who are not part of the Clinton enterprise, who I think would be part of a Biden enterprise. He has some really smart strategic people around him, including, to the matter of full disclosure, my former partner, Mike Donnellan, who is his principal political advisor. So I think he's going about this in a very thorough way. I don't know whether he's going to run. I don't think he yet knows whether he's going to run. But it would be a whole new race if he did.
How so? A whole new race? It would peel away from Hillary or peel away from Sanders? Who would leave who they're supporting right now for Joe Biden?
I think he'd compete across the board. I think trying to put him in a pigeonhole here is a mistake. I think Bernie's biggest difficulty, and my other ex-partner, Tad Devine, is his principal political advisor. But I think his biggest problem is the Democrats really worry that he couldn't win a general election. Mm-hmm. And he's a bit poll-phobic and has not taken a survey that gives people some reason to believe that he could win. So I think that, assuming that Joe Biden was talking about some of these issues that Bernie's talking about, in income inequality, all of that, he's believable on this. And beyond that, he would be a joyful, affirmative, and as you put it, authentic campaigner in a year that craves that.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of reason for him to think about running. But the one thing he has to be ready for, if he's going to do this, is he has to be ready to lose.
Well, that's right. And here's another thing. There are some differences, and the landscape is different in 2016 than it was in 2008 and in 2012, as I see it, from my perspective. We've got a trade agreement that every single union in this country is against, and Joe Biden's going around peddling, saying it's the right thing to do. To me, I think that's a problem. Labor people tell me that's a problem. And that's why they haven't endorsed anybody right now, because they're trying to see how this is all going to unfold. The other issue is Wall Street. Wall Street is now the enemy to a lot of Americans. Now, it's ironic that we're talking about it today. I don't know if this is the beginning of a recession or just a major correction, a correction that we have not had for 4 years in the market. I'm not too concerned about it. Rich people aren't concerned about it because they're just going to hang in there because they can for the long haul. But those of the middle class who have got their retirement, who've got their education funds and everything else are kind of wondering, okay, now where do we go? The bottom line here is even Trump has jumped into this Wall Street conversation, talking about the hedge fund managers and how they're getting tax breaks, and he would, of course, take care of all of that. So Wall Street today, I think, Bob, is a different conversation than what it was in 2012 and 2008. Your take?
Yeah, I think Biden could clearly talk about this, make some serious proposals about it, would be believable on it. The trade agreements, that's a much more difficult situation. He's the vice president of the United States.
Yeah.
He's going to have some disagreements if he runs with the president, and the press will ask him right away what those are. But I don't think one of them can be the trade agreement. He does have a day job, and he has to do that day job. But in terms of the hedge fund managers, in terms of trying to fight for more income equality in this country, in terms of trying to raise the minimum wage, open educational opportunities to people, recreate social mobility in this country, I think he's a very believable messenger for that argument.